Alright, so time to make our enemy shoot stuff. Right? So, let's see if we can make that happen. So, I'm going to need a projectile to shoot, so I'm just going to go ahead and make that first. So I'm just going to go create, and let's just create 2D object. We'll create a sprite. I'm just going to name it like, I don't know, enemy shot. Sounds good. And I'm just going to choose a circle sprite and choose the knob here. And I'm just going to go ahead and make it green, because why not? Alright, and this will be the thing that I'm going to shoot. It's this thing here. Try to zero out this Z. Not that it's actually going to matter, but okay. Enemy shot, and then with that, what else do we want to do? Let's make sure that this is... put it right in the mid-ground. Make sure it's... whatever. Okay. The other thing I want to do is I'm going to add a physics 2D, because that's how I'm going to shoot it, is through its rigid body. Rigid body. Good. So now it's got a rigid body, and it's dynamic, and it's all that. So if I hit play, it's just going to drop like a rock. Yay. Okay. So that's the thing it's going to shoot. Just to make it even more dynamic, let's just do physics 2D, and my thing's a circle, so I'm just going to go ahead and do a circle collider, so that it's the same, and that's all good. Alright, good. So, just to show you, like, if I hit play, it should drop. Let's see, come on. Yay, there it goes. Pretty exciting stuff. Okay, so I got this enemy shot. What I'm going to do is, I want to be able to instance it, so I'm going to have to make it a prefab. So I'm just going to take, I didn't put one in here yet. Okay, good. So we're going to take enemy shot, just going to drag it down in here, and now I can use this to shoot from my enemy. Okay, now, on the enemy, I'm just going to go ahead and set up the shooting. Alright, so let's make a something for shooting. So I have this melee attack. We'll do it right after melee attack. And we'll just do void. Void. What did I call it? And where are you? Shoot attack. Okay, so we're going to do void, shoot attack. Void, and shoot attack. And badoop. There we go. And voila. Alright, now we got shoot attack. It's actually going to be quite a bit like this one. We can steal actually quite a bit from there. Let's add some variables so we can control our shoot attack. So I'm going to go up to the top here where my variables go. And let's say right after these melee ones, let's do some shooting attack ones. So we're going to do a public float for the shoot attack. I'll see it on shoot attack. Yeah. Timer, and we'll set that. Shoot attack time. Yeah, that's good. And then we will do a private float for shoot attack time counter. And we'll set that initially equal to 0, because this is just the setup for it to shoot, only every so often. And then we'll do a public float for the shoot attack damage. And then we will do a public float. Do I need a bump? I mean, if we want to add bump, we could. What else do I need? Shoot public float, and it's going to be shoot distance, and I need probably shoot strength. Where is that? Yeah, shoot strength. Attack damage we already did, and shoot strength. So yeah, let's do after damage public float shoot strength, which is just, it's the amount of force we're going to apply to the shoot in order for it to work. Okay, so we got all that stuff. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm just going to copy and paste this melee attack stuff because it's pretty similar to what I want. So I'm just going to grow like this, Control C, and Tab, and Control V, and let's back this thing up. Okay, and so it's going to be time, blah, 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 but it's not going to be melee attack. It's going to be shooter attack. Shooter attack. Basically, wherever it says melee, change it to shooter. Shooter. Maybe it was shoot. Is that what it is? Oh, I did shoot. Okay. Oh, well. Well, shoot. Okay, so shoot. Attack timer, and then, is this also shoot? This must be shoot as well then. Did you shoot for it? Oh, that's shot. Shoot. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and do, oh, actually we don't want to, I'm going to do this for now. Shoot, attack, damage. And I'm just going to do that for now, because we don't actually want that, because that would just be applying it. So that's not going to be really all that useful. And, so if the player direction is that, which will tell us which direction it is, I'm going to want it to basically instantiate there. So let's apply it. Okay. So I'm going to need another variable too. So what I need to do is instantiate the shoot object. So I got to go up here, and actually at the top I need to also where's the shoot section? Okay, so we're going to do a public game object, and we will call it the shot object, the thing I'm going to be shooting. Oops, not that. There you go, shot object, because that's what I need to instantiate. Okay. And let's go back down to my thing. Where are you? Come on. Oh, went too far. Shoot attack. Okay. So, oops. Actually, let's leave you up here. Oops. Let's put you there. So the first thing I want to do is just reset the attack timer. So basically, this will handle how often it shoots. It's just like it's the same thing as the melee. And then what I want to do is actually go ahead and instantiate the object. So it's going to be shot object is going to be equal to hang on a second. So we need to do, this can actually be private. This one's going to be private. And I need to do another game object. So one of them is going to be public. This is going to be enemy. Game object first. Game object. And it's going to be enemy shot. Okay, so it looks like I have two of them. What we're going to do is that the thing that we're going to instantiate, we're going to put here. We're going to drag that thing into here. And it's like, okay, this is the thing I'm going to want to duplicate. Instantiate. Every time I instantiate, I'm going to call that shot object. So that way I can grab a hold of it, right? I can't call it this because every one of them is going to be called that. So I have to basically grab them by utilizing this. So that's why there's two of them. The instantiation of what I'm creating, like that I'm creating it, is the shot object. The thing I'm instantiating is the enemy shot. So that's, hopefully that makes more sense. Okay. So let's go back to shooting, melee, okay, shoot attack. So we're going to say shot object, and what we're going to do is we're going to instantiate, and I want to instantiate, and it's going to need certain things. So if you look, it needs the object, the position, and the rotation. So the object I want to instantiate is going to be the enemy shot. Okay, so that's what it's going to instantiate from. And we're going to make a new vector 2. I only need to do vector 2 because that's what we're doing. So I'm just going to go ahead and have it, I'm going to have it shoot from just the center of the person for now, just because it'll be easier. So it'll just be transform.position.x, and then transform.position, he's son of a gun. Transform.position.y. Now I could have just done transform.position, But by doing 2 of them, it gives me a little bit, I can do more with it. Like if for some reason I do want to offset it, all you have to do is do transform position.x like +1, and then it will be slightly in front of them. I'm not really all that concerned about that. And then I need to add the rotation. So this is just like a little bit of a hotkey thing. So you just do, not that one, quaternion dot identity, and that will basically mean 0 rotation. So it'll be no rotation at all. Okay, so we're not rotating at all. We're just going to shoot it out at its normal rotation. Yay! Okay, then what we're going to do is this. So it's gonna instantiate the object. Right now, all it's literally going to do is it's going to make that object, and then that object is just going to fall. So it's going to create the object in the middle of where they are, and then it's just going to drop. So I want to take that object and actually add a force to it so that it shoots it out. Okay. There's different ways to go about doing this, but I think it'll be easier if we do it this way. So we're going to say if the player is the player direction is 180, so that means let me see, that would be 90. So backwards. What we're going to do is we are going to run this bit of code. I'm going to take this out and we're going to replace it with what we're going to do. We're going to say shot object, which you remember, that's the thing we just instantiated. So we create this first, and then on that, I'm going to go ahead and get the component, the rigid body 2D, which you remember that shot, we made it in Unity already, and it had a rigid body on it. And then we're going to go ahead and on it, I'm just going to add a velocity. And the velocity is going to be set to a new vector 2. And it's going to need some components here. So we're going to say shoot strength, okay, times 2 by shoot strength, like that. So basically it's X and Y, so which means it's going to be pushing twice as hard outwards and once as hard upwards. That's kind of what I was thinking in my head. You can play with these numbers if you want, try adding or dividing and doing all other stuff. I'm just going to put this in parentheses to make sure that these get calculated together. Should work regardless. Good. So that is going to go ahead and add that force. So I'm going to copy this, Control C, and then I'm going to paste it here, Control V. But now, instead, what we're going to do is it's going to be negative shoot strength, because this one's going to tell it to shoot in that direction. Okay, so that should work. Let's go ahead and it's not actually going to run right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put shoot attack just to test it. I'm going to put it right inside the update so that if I can see that it's working, right? So I'm just going to do shoot attack like this. And now it'll just always run on every update. That's basically the idea behind it. So let's see what happens. Hopefully we don't run into too many errors, but let's see. Did it update? Come on. There it goes. Okay. And looks like it's not. Okay. So first thing I got to do is I got to take this enemy shot, and I got to click and drag that into here from the prefabs. Now it knows to instantiate from that object. Okay, so it will, that's what it's going to use. Now the shoot attack time, let's go ahead and just make it 1, so every 1 second it's going to do. The damage isn't actually going to do anything quite yet. I'm just going to put 25 for now, but that's not going to actually affect it because we didn't apply that. Shoot strength, this one is going to matter. Let's try 250. I don't know how much it honestly needs. And shoot distance. That is also not going to do anything quite yet, so we'll leave that alone. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit play, and hopefully it will shoot that object out. And I think it shot my player away. Let's see something. I think it pushed him off because they were on top of each other, or something like that. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go to my code. And I'm just going to hard code this, but you might want to manually code it. So you see where it says, not there, sorry, shoot attack, and it says vector X and for this first one's the position. So I'm going to do this plus, let's say 1. So it'll be above it, just so that we don't have that issue. And I will do here, I'm going to do plus 0.5, and let's do plus 0.5 here. 0.5. Transform x plus 0.5. Is that better? Let's see. Maybe I gotta put these in print. Why is it upset with me? Move vector 2. Oh, that's why it's upset. Never mind. I don't have to do that. Oh wait, no. It's still being silly. Transform that x. Why are you upset? Can I convert a double to a float? Oh, so 0.5 f. 0.5 f. Ah, okay. So I didn't need to add these parentheses. I didn't think I would. Alright, and take that one out, and it should be good. Okay, so I'm just going to add 0.5 and 0.5 just to make sure it's obvious. F, and then we'll go here, and hopefully that'll be enough, because that's about, that guy's pretty small. I think that should be far enough off of him that it's not going to hit him and push him away. Hoping, anyway. Let's try this again. I mean, he's only about 0.5 himself. Okay, there it goes. Alright, so... Alright, seems like he's shooting a lot of them. So let's do the, where are you? The shoot time, let's make it 2. And let's take shoot strength and let's make that like 50. Because I think it's like jutting it out. I'm not sure. I think it's putting like a just crazy amount of force in there, and that's why it's, yeah, see, I still see it. You could see it now. It's like shooting it way out there. Okay, so I just have like a crazy high force amount. Let's do 10. I think that's the issue. I think I just had a really, really high. Alright, so now you can see he's throwing those balls, right? Oh boy. So you can see he's throwing them at me at all times. He's not cool. But you can see no matter what, he throws them in my direction. And that's pretty exciting stuff. Okay. Yay. Alright. Yeah, alright. So I actually think I might not need to do this. Let me take this back off and see if that solves the issue. Control S. I think it was just because the force was like crazy high, but let's see. Rather not have to put those in there because it was offsetting on the right no matter what. Otherwise I have to set it up that it will flip depending on which direction he's in. I'd rather not do that. So let's see if we can get that to work. Yeah, that's better. Okay. So now you can see he's shooting them at me. It's pretty exciting. Still way too strong. You can see he's lugging him out there. He's a slugger, that guy. So let's do, I don't know, 5. Okay, so we're going to call that good. So now you can see that that is clearly working. It's definitely shooting. It's not shooting at a specific time, but the shooting is definitely working. So the other thing I want to do here too is that you might have noticed that we're instantiating this. And every time we're instantiating, or every time it instantiates this, man, he just jumped up there, instantiates it, it's creating this clone, right? Well, that never goes away. That's there forever. And that's it's kind of a problem. So we need to fix that a little bit. Oh, you know what? It's hitting himself and pushing him. Well, that's no good. So I think what I'm going to do is actually move it up above him a little bit. But anyways, it's instantiating it. So we're going to fix both the where it's shooting from as well as the other thing. So I'm just going to go on the Y. I'm just going to go ahead and do plus. Let's just do +1 just so that I know that it's going to clear it. So that will fix the hitting himself. Stop hitting yourself. The other thing I want to do is I just want to shoot. I just want to destroy that shot, right? So all we're going to do is basically if time blah, 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 blah. And then first thing I'm going to do is just go destroy. shot object, like that, right? And that's just basically going to destroy the object that was previously shot. Now, if you look, you'll notice that it wasn't ever actually shot, but I think it'll give us an error, but it should still run. It probably would make more sense if we did, I wonder if this would work, if I did if shot object is not equal to null. Maybe this would work, I don't know. Like that, stick them up there, and go like that, and save it. Let's see. Just trying to avoid errors. So hopefully, let's see. So this way what it's going to do is the first thing it's going to do each time, yeah, it looks like it's working, is it's going to shoot that object, and then it's going to delete the old one just before it shoots the next one. So that's the idea, okay? So we want to destroy that. So now, for all intents and purposes, that is working, right? That looks pretty acceptable. And I'm not going to worry about this. Let's just remove that. I don't really need that. Okay, so the shooting's working, but now what I need to do is I just need to set up a scenario whereby it's okay, whereby what I want it to do is when it's going to shoot it, right? So right now he's always going after the player. What I want him to do is decide to shoot it at times when it detects the player, but it's basically the player's far away, but he's not close enough to like run towards him. But if the player gets close enough, then it will run towards him and do a melee, if that makes sense. So what we're going to do is up here, you'll see that we've already made a melee distance, so that's how close it's got to be to hit. And we've also have made a shoot distance. What I'm going to do is I'm going to also create, after the shoot distance, we're going to do a public float, and we're going to do what we call a chase distance. So basically how close I want it to be in order to chase, how close it's got to be in order to attack, and how close it's got to be in order to shoot. That's basically what these three are going to be for. Okay, and that's what we're going to use on our trigger system down here in order to make it work. Okay. All right, and now what we can do also, actually, before I go down there, is go ahead and take it off of the update because I don't want it shooting all the time. That was just to test it. And this is shoot, attack, shoot. Yep. Okay, good. So that's good. So basically, we need to add shoot as part of our triggers, as well as adjust our triggers for this stuff too. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is set up shoot. So I'm just going to go like this, and we're going to tab, and I'm going to say if a bunch of things, I don't know what yet. I'm going to have you go ahead, and we're going to change the, oh, you know what? I got these all in these parentheses, or these brackets. And they don't really need them because they're not really, just cleaner not to have them, right? So I'm just going to take them out. Because if it's one line of code, you don't have to have them. And I think it would just be easier. There we go. There we go. Okay, so if, and then we'll get rid of this. And we'll get rid of that. Okay, so if something happens, I'm going to want this one to do enemy state. And we're going to set that equal to shoot. Okay? So basically what I want to have happen is a couple of things. One, the player needs to be present, right? That's pretty obvious. I want the player to be present. Okay. I also want the player distance to be greater than the shoot distance. So basically, yeah, so it's got to be greater than the shoot distance. Or I'm sorry, not greater than the shoot distance. It should be under the shoot distance. Basically, player distance should be less than the shoot distance, because there's no sense in shooting if I can't get to them, right? So it needs to be less than the shoot distance. So it's got to be present, it's got to be less than the shoot distance. And besides that, I want and the player distance needs to be greater than the chase distance, right? Okay, so basically, the player has to be there, and the player has to be within shooting distance, but not within the chasing distance, right? So basically, kind of far away, but not, not too close, okay? So all these need to be true, and then he's going to decide to shoot. Okay. Good. So that should work. And then so you notice I have if, else if, else if, else. So we need to make sure that I put an else if. Otherwise, if I have an if here, this if and this else if are not in any way related. Right now, only one of these can be true. Otherwise, you can have multiple ones true, or they could override each other. And that's not something I want. So, okay. So on this one, for the chase, I want the player to be present, right? And the player distance needs to be, let's go this way with it. And the player distance needs to be greater than the shoot. Oops. Greater than the shoot distance. Okay. So basically, I need the player to be present, and the player needs to be right here. It needs to be farther than the shoot distance, right? Because in order to get close enough to shoot, I'm going to want to chase at least initially. So that's one way that I want it to work. Or what I want it to do is that the player distance, is less than the chase. Oops, not there. Chase distance. Okay. And let me do this real quick. View, toggle word wrap. And the player distance is greater than the melee distance. All right. So let's explain this. So basically, all these have to be present, right? We know that. So that we'll disregard that one. But in this one, what we're saying, in order for you to go chasing after the player, you basically need the player distance to not be as... Basically, you're beyond where you're capable of shooting, right? So we see them, but we're not close enough to shoot. So what that means is that if we see them and we're not close enough to shoot, it's going to go chase them. And then once we are close enough to shoot, this one will become true, because then it'll say player distance is less than shoot distance. So then we'll shoot. So this will help us get close enough to shoot. Or it's also going to do chase if this happens. So this will happen at a distance, this first one. The second one will happen if basically the player distance is greater than or less than the chase distance. So we're going to have that chase distance. So basically, the chase distance is going to be even shorter than the shoot distance. So basically, if we get past where they shoot, and like if we're closer than what they normally shoot, then what it's going to do, if it's less than that, and it's not quite up to the melee distance, it's going to chase us so that we can get close enough to do our melee, if that makes sense. Okay? Player present. This should also probably be player present in here too. I don't know why I don't have that. So, or player present and. Okay, so player present should be on both ends of this one. So basically, the difference between like these and the other ones is that the chase runs underneath two different systems. It'll either be that we're too far to shoot, or we're too far to melee. Okay, we're too close to shoot, and then not far or close enough to melee. So that's the idea. So all these things need to be true, and then that will run. So that's the idea behind that. Okay, so the other thing I need to do too, that I forgot to do on my shoot, is that we need to, when the player's shooting, I want them to actually stop and shoot. I don't want them just to go, shooting whatever. So we're just going to go ahead and on this, we're going to do enemy RT whatever, and we're going to do dot velocity, and we're just going to make that equal to a new, vector 2. So, and it's going to be 0, so it's not moving. And then, actually, why am I writing it like that? Let's just do velocity.x will equal 0. Makes sense, right? Will that work or no? No, it doesn't like it. Okay, I have to write it that way. So it's going to be 0, and then it's just going to go ahead and be whatever the current transform.position.x, or sorry, y, whatever the current position y is. All right, so this will keep us from moving. So when we are shooting, we stop. We don't want to keep moving towards them as we're shooting. I mean, you might want that, and if you do, just take that off. Okay, so that should work. Let's go in here. I'm going to give it a second. I'm going to have to change some of the settings because we added a bunch of things for like the shoot distance and the chase distance and things like that. So go enemy. Okay. So right now, let's see. Where's the player? Okay, player detection distance. We currently have it 5. Okay. So the shoot distance should be less than that. So I'm going to go to my shoot distance and we'll make that one 4. So basically got to be close enough to 4 in order to shoot. So when we first see them, we're not going to be able to shoot until we move up 1 unit, and then we can shoot. Then we're going to say is chase distance. We'll make that, let's say we make it 3. So basically, there's within 1 unit, we're going to shoot, but once they get past that, then it's going to go ahead and try to hit them. All right, let's try that and see if this works. I'm sure it's not going to. And let's see how this goes. So initially, it's going to patrol. Then it's going to see me. Oh, this isn't working. Right? Oops. Ah, I died. Oh, he died too. But he doesn't reset. Alright. Okay. So you can see he's shooting until I get too close, then he comes at me. But if I'm far enough away, he will shoot at me. But if I go too far, you see he comes closer within a distance. So from here to here, he's going to shoot. But if I get too close, then he's going to come right at me. And that's basically what we're trying to get done here. So you can see he's just going to shoot at me until I get too far. Then he's going to come at me within distance. But if I get close enough, then he's just going to go ahead and attack me. Right? So I would obviously have to adjust his shooting because he's not very good at shooting me. But you can see it's kind of working. But if I get close enough, he's going to go, oh, you want some of this? Then he's going to come get it, right? And he's going to kick my butt. But if I go too far away, he's going to come for me. And that's basically the idea. All right? Now, the things themselves, these little objects, this enemy shot, you can tell is not hurting him, hurting my guy. So what I'd have to do is add a tag to them, so maybe like, you know, shots or something, and then on the player itself, where's the under the scripts? I'm not gonna do it right now, but you go to the player pickup script. Maybe on the player pickup script, I would go ahead and, or would it be the player controller? Let me see. Fixed update ground check. I don't know if I even have an on trigger enter in here, do I? I don't think I do. Yeah, so I would do it on the player pickup script. I would run a script, or I would have it that, you can see it says on trigger enter, and I would have something that searches for a tag of like enemy shot in here. And then if it sees enemy shot, it would run the player stat script and then take health away, right? Just like we did on the other stuff. So that's basically how you would make it, you know, hit you. All right. And that is basically it as far as the, you know, the enemy AI. I know it was kind of a lot, but you can see it's semi-advanced, you know. You can see he, you know, he can do all sorts of stuff. But you would want to add, obviously, the ability to kill him and all that other stuff, too. But now, at least... Oops. And we could do something... You know, I only did detection for size, but you could add detection on the top and make him be able to make him jump up and stuff. So you could do more to it. But this gives you a good start, at least, that if you wanted to try and make your own, you know... Oh, and he died. Okay. But, yeah, so good luck.